I don't like stuff like that. I mean, I just don't. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, I'm Ashley. I do lifestyle videos every Tuesday and Thursday, and I would love to have you back. So go ahead and click that subscribe button down below. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up at the end. For today's video, I thought it would be fun to do a back to school video and basically just kind of talk about my college experience. This is my last summer at home and I'm starting school Monday. I will be a senior in college and I'm ready to get it over with. And I think if you are a senior, or if you're graduated even, you understand that by the time you get to this point, you are just kind of done with it. So let's go ahead and get into this video, and I'm just going to start talking. Basically, I went to school, like grade school, and then went to a different high school. I didn't go to one of those schools where you go in K through like senior year. I went to K through 8th, and then I went into high school. And I was never a school person, so if that gives you any insight to my video at all and what I'm going to be saying about school, I have never been a school person. I never will be a school person. I do enjoy learning new things, but school is just not, it's not my thing. I really wish it was, but I would much rather just be at home and, I don't know, reading a book or something. Just school is not my thing. But anyways, so when it came time for me to start school, freshman year of college, that summer in between, I just kind of knew where I was going to go. So I didn't go and tour different colleges. And I really wish that I had done that. So I definitely, if you were in the position of either you, well, if you're about to start school, then hopefully you toured it. But if you are in a high school, a senior in high school right now, then definitely go and take the opportunity and time and set it aside and go tour different colleges. I honestly think that's very important because personally, I think I might have chosen a different school if I had done that. And I'm not saying anything bad about my school. I really do like my school. It's just, I definitely think that there are some other options out there that may have been better for me. So first tip is go and tour schools. And I would say tour at least 3 different schools. And if you're 100% that you want to go to a school, definitely still go and tour other schools because you might be surprised and not even known what was out there. When school started at my school, we had to go into a dorm, and I think it's like that at most schools. And that was my least favorite thing in the entire world. I did not like living in a dorm. Luckily, I had a good roommate, and actually I just chose random roommate, but we actually came from the same place and area, and she was super sweet and I really loved her. So I was so lucky that I got a good roommate. But a lot of people that I've heard have not been that lucky. But even though I had a good roommate, I still hated living in a dorm. I wanted to live in an apartment by myself. I didn't want any roommates. I don't really like living with people. I like my space. So that was a pretty big issue for me. But more so than just like having my own space, I didn't like the rules that the dorm had. Every single time we left our dorm room, we had like a dorm, she was a college student, I can't remember her name, like a RA, residential something another. So she lived at the beginning of our hall. So like you walk out, you have to pass her room. And she always had her door open, which I think that most RAs are like that. And it's just kind of like where you can drop in and say hey, and kind of like to get you integrated into college life. But I hated that. I don't like people checking up on me. I don't like people saying whenever I leave and when I come, whatever. I just don't like it. It's not that I'm hiding anything. I don't like it. I don't know why, I can't tell you, but I don't like it. And so that was my big I hate the dorm thing, because I felt like I had no space. You leave your dorm, you go down a hall full of like tons of people, and then you pass by her hall and you leave, then you go to school, and it's just not a good day. And you can't get away from school. You're like constantly at school. Okay, now that being said, if you have to live in a dorm room, don't think that it's going to be the end of the world, because it wasn't the end of the world. I'm just dramatic and I didn't like it. But personally, I didn't even want to go to college. My parents kind of made me go to college, and for what I'm doing, I want to be a writer or like creative content maker, and I don't really, this is horrible to say, but I don't really think I need college. And so for someone like me, I don't even recommend college. But you know, my parents made me. I'm almost done. I'm glad that I'm getting a degree, but I'm done after this. I'm not doing school ever again. If you are going to be living in a dorm, some tips that I would give are definitely make sure that you have a dorm if your college offers it and if you can afford it, a dorm with a bathroom inside. I had that. I loved having my own bathroom. It was just nice not having to leave my dorm room. Sometimes you just don't feel like leaving your room, and I wanted to go to the bathroom in my room, so I did because we had our bathroom. So I definitely recommend checking out a dorm like that. Other tips that I have, decorate your room how you want it. Like for me, I was like, oh, I'm not going to be living here long, so I minimally decorated it, and it was cute, but it wasn't how I would have decorated it if I had thought long term. I think a lot of times whenever you're living somewhere temporary, you don't want to decorate it to like your full expectation of what you would decorate at a long-term house. So think of a dorm room as long-term, even though it's not long-term. Because for me, if I had decorated it more cozy and more homey, I think I would have liked it more. And just bring your own personal style into your dorm room. And it doesn't matter what your roommate has. You bring your style in, and it doesn't matter at all if they match, because it's your room and her room, not y'all's room. I mean, like, it's y'all's room, but it's not y'all's room. So next thing is, before school even started, we had orientation, which I think all schools have orientation. Orientation is a horrible thing, again, but that's just me. And it's basically a time for you to get to know the campus, and your family comes up there with you and you get your schedule. And to me, I'm kind of introverted. I'm like an extrovert introvert. I want to be extroverted at times, but I want to be introverted at times, and I don't like being put in situations where I feel like I have to be extroverted. So orientation is basically an extrovert's like party. They love orientation, but if you are introverted and you don't want to be like forced to talk to people, orientation's terrible. So what we did at orientation basically is we ate, we got our schedules, we got put in groups, horrible groups, and you had to do bonding games. I don't like stuff like that. I mean, I just don't. Orientation, I would have skipped it actually, and then the worst part of orientation was that we had to go to this little like weird party thing, and I honestly don't even want to remember it. I kind of blocked all that out of my head, and it was freshman year like 3 years ago, and I hated orientation. But you didn't have to go to that. They trick you into saying like, oh, you have to go to orientation because blah, blah, blah. You're not going to be able to go to college if you don't go to orientation. Okay, that's a lie. You get to go to college if you don't go to orientation. So if you don't want to participate in everything, don't do it. Like, just get your schedule and leave, because that's what I wish that I did, and it was a horrible way to start out college. I know that this has been pretty negative so far, so let me like back up and say some positive things. So I was super excited starting college because I was going into journalism, which, you know, I basically did journalism instead of creative writing because I would have a career to fall back on, because creative writing I feel like is kind of hard to get into a field of. So I chose journalism with a concentration in news ed, and then we have to do like basically another concentration, and that concentration for me is creative writing. I feel like I've learned a lot throughout this process. 2 weeks before school started, I had this epiphany go off in my head where I was like, I need to be a teacher. I was like, I need to teach little children. I need to be in a classroom with little children. And for some weird reason of me, I was thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be in a kindergarten classroom again, obviously until I have kids. But I mean, I won't be sitting in there with them. I'm not going to go to school with them. So I was like, I love the feel of like elementary school. It's so happy and so light and fun, and apples and rulers and stuff. And I don't even like math, but I like rulers. But so I was like, ooh, light bulb. Okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna be a teacher. So 2 weeks before school starts, I go up, I meet with my advisor, I change my major to education, and that's where I was at freshman year. Okay, so freshman year, school starts, I get moved into my dorm, blah, 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 all that stuff. I go off to class. First 2 weeks of school, I'm like, I love college, I love teaching, I love education, I love everything about this. Third week rolls around, no. I hated education. I am telling you, I am not meant to be a teacher. I am not meant for that stuff. I really hate the education system, and I know that you've probably heard like thousands of people complain about that, but it's stupid. I mean, I hate it. So I was like, I have to get out of this. I am not going to be in this. So I change my major back to journalism, which I honestly think, actually I don't think, I know. If I had kept my major journalism from the very beginning, I would have had a whole different perspective on my first semester of college. But because of that education background, my very first semester of college, it kind of set things off to a rough, like rocky start for me. And if I had just stayed in journalism, I would have enjoyed college more as starting out. Okay, so then second semester rolls around, still in the dorms, still not liking school, but at least I enjoyed my classes. Summer came around and I had a great summer and was dreading going back, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna be a sophomore, I can do this. So school starts and I lived in an apartment. And I still have the same apartment, and I have the best roommate in the world. Okay, so this is my roommate, Izzy. Y'all have seen her before, but she is just, honestly, if you like living alone, but like you still want something to keep you company, you gotta get a cat, because they keep you so much company, and they're not like a dog. Like, they're not really that needy. Like, you just feed them and play with them and love them, and you don't have to take them out to poop or anything, but she's so sweet. So sophomore year, I got my apartment and everything was great with that. I loved living in an apartment. I loved my classes, no issues. Classes are hard and all, but you know, I was like, I don't mind college that much. Second semester of sophomore year, same. So then summer rolled around and everything, and junior year started. And junior year started out a little tougher. If you're in college, sophomore year was my easiest so far. Junior year is hard. So if you're gonna be a junior, just be ready. Junior year is really tough, but it's doable. So lived in my apartment, did my classes. I mean, I study a lot. Like, I have a 3.6 right now going into my senior year, which I'm very proud of considering that I hate school so much. So second semester of junior year, that was the worst semester of my life. So I had another cat. I'll put a picture of him in right here. But yeah, so that's Bink, and he was like my little baby cat. I had him since I was a senior in high school. He was just like my world. Like, I loved that cat. He was my baby. And he was 3 years old, and he passed away in January, like at the very beginning of my second semester junior year. And that was so hard for me to go through. Luckily, Austin was over at my apartment, and he just like died, and it was awful. It was traumatizing. It was horrible and unexpected, and it was the worst thing ever. So I was super depressed. I mean, like all-time low, major depressed, like didn't want to function, depressed. So that weekend I went home and ended up getting Izzy that you just saw. And I know a lot of people would say that that's way too soon to get an animal after an animal dies, but for me it was like a healing process. Like, I was so depressed, and I was like, I'm just gonna go look, and if I found a cat that like I liked, I'm gonna get him. So I got Izzy. I mean, that helped because I had my little cat to live with and everything, and I love her just as much as I love Bink, but she doesn't replace him because he was just special to me. He was like my very first indoor cat, and I mean, growing up we had like barn cats and stuff, but he was my first, like, you know, only inside with me cat, and I don't know, he was so special, and I still miss him and get sad about that. But when I got Izzy, things got a little bit better, and so she stayed with me again, and now she is my roommate, and she's still a little kitten though. She's only like, she's not even a year old. I don't know. I think she'll be a year in November. But fast forward down the road a little bit to April, everything was going good, and then I have Crohn's disease, and I'll do a video on that later on. If you're interested, just give this video a thumbs up and I'll do it. But I have Crohn's disease, and that is tough in college. It was very hard. That's a very hard adjustment. But in April, my Crohn's started flaring really bad, and I was so sick, nauseous, could hardly eat. And then that lasted, luckily it was like at the end of April, but so it was a really bad end of my semester. And then this whole entire summer I've been so sick, and I'm finally feeling a little bit better. I mean, I'm definitely not 100%, I'm not myself still. So I'm interested to see how this semester is going to be, because I'm still pretty sick. And like I said, school starts Monday, and I wanted to try to get out of this flare before school started up, but it doesn't seem like that's gonna happen, so hopefully everything goes good. My fingers are crossed, but definitely I'm gonna do a video talking about my health journey and everything, and kind of what I do, my medicines, how I eat, everything. That's pretty much where I'm at with college. What I recommend, freshman year is very important for grades. So what you want to do is make sure that you make very good grades your freshman year, because then that'll make your GPA higher and you won't have to worry and play catch up to get your GPA back up. So if you make really good grades freshman year, then it's easier for you down the road. Also, don't be scared to change your major. If you hate what you are doing, then change it. Don't just sit there and struggle through hating your life, basically. Definitely change your major, and there's no shame in doing that. And I got lucky, it didn't set me behind at all. There were some classes that I had to retake, or not retake, but classes that I had to like add hours to, so I ended up taking more hours than needed, but it's no big deal. And really research your majors. If you're undecided, then don't even choose a major when you go in, just go in undecided, because like I said, I would have been better if I started out in journalism like I was originally planning. So just, if you feel like you should be in a major, stick to your gut and don't change it immediately. I would wait, because I really wish that I had waited on changing it to education, because I know I would have kept it journalism. So college, it's fun. I mean, like I said, I'm not a school person. If I'm on campus, not during classes, 80% of my time is spent in the library, just because I like the library, and I'm not a partier or anything. Like I said, my roommate's a cat, okay? So I just prefer being home and everything. But you know, honestly, it's a big life-changing experience. It's a big move in your life, and it's definitely good for you. So if you are starting school, good luck, and I hope that you like it. I hope that all of your schooling goes good, and if you're out of college, I hope that this is kind of fun looking back on your college days. Leave me a comment down below with videos that you would like to see soon, and I will definitely try to get around to those. Make sure that you're subscribed, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you on Tuesday. Bye!